Welcome all to this Python full stack demo series part 1. In this first part, we will try to understand what is full stack, and in coming demo sessions, we will try to understand what is Python and lot other questions like who can opt for this course, what are the things we have to learn to become a Python full stack developer, and what are the current market trends related to Python full stack. Are there any opportunities in Python full stack? What are the different domains in IT a Python full stack developer can hit for getting a job? And so many other questions like students from non-IT background, they might be having a question, so can I get a job after learning this course? So I will be answering most of the questions in this Python full stack demo series. Please, I recommend everyone who wants to make their career into IT with the help of Python full stack, please do watch these videos. Here, we are going to start with the first question, what is full stack? Rather than talking about any other part, because there are so many other full stack courses like Python full stack, there is a Java full stack, there is a Mon full stack, .NET full stack, PHP full stack, so many other full stack courses. And why to take a full stack? We'll come to the next question, why to take Python full stack later. But in this part, we will try to understand what is full stack, first of all. So to understand full stack, you have to understand the architecture of an application. Your app, yes, the application which you use every day, YouTube, Instagram, Netflix, Hotstar to watch IPL. So those applications are made in 3 different parts, guys. Yes, your application is not a single part or single thing. It is a combination of 3 different parts. As a developer, you have to know what are these 3 parts and what are their roles, what are their jobs. So let's say you as a user of a application called YouTube want to access it through internet. So what you will do, simply you will go to the browser, you will type there YouTube, you will open the YouTube application, and when you open a YouTube application, you will type in the search bar bahubali.com or Bahubali movie, whatever it is, okay, Bahubali related, and you want to watch Bahubali movies. So simply will type Bahubali and your request, yes, through internet, your request will be forwarded to the first part of the full stack application, that is front end. Yes, front end is the first part of the application, and this part is exposed to the customers. You can connect to this part with the help of internet. Yes. So, but this part is empty actually. It has no data. It has no data means what? It has no movie called Bahubali. So you requested Bahubali movie to front end. But front end has no Bahubali. So what? Yes, the front end will simply forward that request to the next part of the full stack application, which is backend. Yes, front end, and the second part is backend. But backend also has no Bahubali movie. But what it will do is it will simply again redirect your request to the third part of the application, which is called database. And database, as name itself is the definition, it is a base of a data. The whole data of that application is stored here. What is meant by data now? Yes, for YouTube application, the data is what? their reels, their videos, their movies, their songs. Okay, this is their data, and they have to store that data somewhere. So they will be storing that data, that information, that files into database in the form of tables. So in the form of tables. So here is the table of movies. So what will happen? Simply it will be searched into movies table with the name Bahubali. You asked for Bahubali movie. So what, it will start searching, and whenever it will find a Bahubali movie name, so it will take the file, and that file simply it will be what, redirected back to the validate, to the backend, and backend will again, it will what, check whether it is a Bahubali or not. Because in database there is a Pushpa movie also, there is KGF movie also, and there are tons of movies stored in the database, but you asked for Bahubali. So this backend will take that Bahubali movie, and simply, who asked for Bahubali movie to backend? Front end. So it will say, hey buddy, front end, see, I got this Bahubali movie, please take this and what, give it to your customer who asked to you. So what, it will simply what, redirect to you now in your computer, and in computer, boom, Bahubali movie is playing now. So in this way, the whole journey, the application's architecture has been divided into three parts. And in very brief, we understood there are three parts, but we did not understand, we did not actually get what are the roles of each part. Why are there three parts? Why can't be there is a only one part? So no need to ask each other, okay, Brandon is asking backend, backend is asking database. Again, database is giving that data to the backend, backend is giving back to the front end, and front end is giving to you. Don't you think it's very crucial? It's very time taking. Yes, it's time taking, but if you think as a developer, you will understand the reasons behind this architecture. This is called mostly developers do call it three-tier architecture, guys. What do they call? Three-tier architecture. And this three-tier architecture is very, very famous nowadays because it is reliable, it is secure, and what, there is a you can say every part has its own work, and they are doing their work. So separation of concern is also achieved through. So security and separation of concern. These are the two reasons. If anyone asks you why we created any full stack application into three different parts, why there are no two parts, or why there is not a single one full stack application. So the reason is simple, because developer wants to achieve separation of concern and security of data. How are we are achieving the security of data? Guys, I told you we are accessing front end. We are not accessing backend. We are not accessing database directly. Backend and database is accessed by front end here. You don't have direct authority or that access to access, okay, backend. So here, in this way, this whole data where we are stored, that database is far away from a customer, cannot access it, don't know where it is located. So you can access only empty front end, but you cannot access the back end and database. And what is the work of each part? What actually front end does? What actually back end does? And what is the role of database? Yes, somewhat database role we have understood, that database means we are storing data here. Yes, we stored our movies here in the form of table. But what is the work of backend? The work of backend is, guys, validating data. Validating means cross checking. Okay, checking whether the data is entered here is correct or not. So the data is coming from both the side. Data is coming from customer to front end and front end to back end. And data is coming from database to back end again. So both the data has to be checked. Here customer asked for Bahubali movie. Okay, Bahubali movie. So for example, that guy Bahubali movie asked, and the Bahubali, rather than typing Bahubali, that guy has like typed something gibberish, okay, which is not meaningful. So he must be getting what? Any error here. So it will say, please enter proper name, because this is not a proper name. And what? To get a proper result, you have to have a proper name. So the data entered from this application from customer is also cross checked. For example, if you enter any email ID and password, okay, for example, if you want to log in to the any application, you have to enter your username and password. If the username and password is incorrect, backend will simply say you, please enter valid email ID or password. The same way you asked for a Bahubali movie, and when this database is responding with Bahubali movie, it will be checked whether that is correct Bahubali movie or not. If it is not, then what? It will not be checked. It will not be what forwarded ahead. So the data coming from database as well as the data going to what? Backend from customer side is also checked, cross-checked. That is called validation of data. Now you understood the database work. We use databases to store the data. We use backend to what? Validate the data, to cross-check the data. What is the role of front end then? See, here if you see, we have a MP4 files. Okay, Bahubali.mp4 file. Now this MP4 file cannot be played directly. No, it has to play in a proper way, and the screen size has to be proper. Everything has to be there. So that movie has to be represented in a proper manner. So customers will feel comfortable, and the whole journey, whole you can say the whatever the time period they are accessing your application, that will be comfortable for them. That is the reason front end has to be attractive. Front end has to be what? More aesthetically pleasant. So it actually do visualize the data in a proper format. Okay, so database has simple mp4 file. Backend also checked it whether it is mp4, it is Bahubali or not, and it has forwarded to the front end. Now front end will what? Visualize, represent that Bahubali movie, and it will showcase in your computer. So this is the journey of, you can say, a Bahubali movie. You ask to front end to back end to database. Now database to again back end to front end, and front end to your computer. So this is what we do communicate to our servers in the form of what? Request and a response. When you talk to the servers, when you ask anything, it is called request, and your request is what? Responded by the servers, that is called response. Okay, the answer to your request is called response. So this is what a full stack application means. So in this way you can achieve separation of concern. Tomorrow this part has a problem, so I will get to know, yes, this part has a problem, so front end has a problem, so let's what? Fix the front end. Tomorrow if the backend something is stopped working, then I know that these three different parts and three different machines. So backend is having a problem, means I will just work on a backend. Why will I waste my efforts upon database and front end then? But assume that there is only single application, okay, and it has front end, back end, every all logic, all the data, all the front end, everything is at one place. And tomorrow if that whole big, that application stops working. As a developer, it is a headache to you with to find out whether that problem is in the front end or back end or database, because you don't know. You have put all the things in a one machine, in one server, and you don't know which part is not working now. So this is called separation of concerns. So separation of concerns, and another one thing is what? Security of data is achieved with the help of this full stack 3-tier application.